I almost dropped the paper plate when I heard the words. My heart froze, every conversation around me faded into silence, and dozens of curious eyes turned in my direction. 1 second I was just the quiet neighbor helping carry a bowl of potato salad. The next I was standing in the middle of a crowded backyard while the most beautiful woman I'd ever met smiled brightly and introduced me to her entire family as her boyfriend, even though we had never gone on a single date. Before we continue, if you believe that kindness can change lives and that everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more heartwarming stories like this one. My name is Nathan, and this happened 3 summers ago in a quiet neighborhood outside Nashville, Tennessee. I had moved there after the hardest year of my life. My engagement had ended only weeks before my wedding, and everything I believed about my future seemed to collapse overnight. Instead of fighting the memories, I packed my belongings, accepted a remote job, and rented a small house where nobody knew my story. The neighborhood was peaceful. Children rode bicycles until sunset. Elderly couples watered their gardens together, and every evening the smell of freshly cut grass drifted through the streets. Across from my house lived a cheerful woman named Rachel. She always seemed to carry sunshine wherever she went. Whether she was bringing groceries inside or walking her golden retriever, she greeted everyone with the same genuine smile. For weeks our conversations never lasted more than a minute. We exchanged friendly waves, talked about the weather, and occasionally laughed when her dog escaped into my yard chasing squirrels. Those tiny moments slowly became the brightest part of my lonely days. One Saturday morning, she knocked on my door holding a homemade blueberry pie. She explained that her family was hosting their annual summer barbecue the next afternoon and insisted I come along because, according to her, nobody deserved to spend weekends alone. I hesitated. Crowds made me uncomfortable after everything I'd been through. I wasn't ready to answer questions about my past or explain why I lived alone. But Rachel's kindness felt impossible to refuse. She didn't pity me, she simply treated me like someone who belonged. The next afternoon I walked beside her toward her parents' large backyard, carrying a bowl of coleslaw I had bought from a local deli because I couldn't cook to save my life. Laughter floated through the warm air. Children played tag across the lawn while burgers sizzled on the grill. Strings of lights hung between old oak trees, making the backyard look almost magical even before sunset. I expected to quietly blend into the crowd. Instead, everything changed within seconds. Rachel wrapped her arm around mine with complete confidence and led me toward a group gathered near the grill. Before I could even process what was happening, she smiled at everyone and happily announced that I was her boyfriend. Time seemed to stop. I stared at her in complete disbelief. Her parents smiled warmly. Her grandmother hugged me before I could react. Her younger cousins immediately began asking embarrassing questions. Even her father gave me one of those firm handshakes that silently measured a man's character. I didn't know whether to correct her or simply survive the moment. Then I looked at Rachel. Behind her confident smile, I noticed something different. Fear. Real fear. Her eyes silently pleaded with me to trust her. So I nodded politely and played along. The afternoon became one of the strangest experiences of my life. Every relative welcomed me as if I had already been part of the family for years. They handed me plates piled high with barbecue ribs, corn on the cob, baked beans, and homemade desserts. Her grandfather challenged me to a horseshoe game. Her little niece insisted I help her build a fairy house beneath the biggest tree in the yard. For the first time in over a year, I found myself laughing without forcing it. Still, questions filled my mind. Why had Rachel done this? After sunset, when the guests slowly began leaving, she finally asked if we could take a short walk. As we wandered through the quiet neighborhood, she apologized before I even had the chance to ask anything. Her younger sister had recently announced an engagement. Their parents had spent months worrying that Rachel was always alone. Every family gathering turned into uncomfortable conversations about her dating life. She had grown tired of defending herself, and in a moment of panic, she told everyone she had been seeing someone wonderful from the neighborhood. She never expected her family barbecue to arrive so quickly. Then she met me. She admitted she knew pretending wasn't fair, but after getting to know me over the previous weeks, something told her I was kind enough to understand. I should have been angry. Instead, I remembered all the evenings when her simple smile had been the only bright moment in my day. We both laughed at how unbelievable the situation had become. To keep the story believable, we agreed to attend one more family dinner together before gently telling everyone that we had decided to remain friends. But life rarely follows carefully written plans. Over the following weeks, pretending slowly became unnecessary. We started having breakfast together after morning walks. We visited local farmers markets every Saturday. We watched thunderstorms from our front porches while drinking coffee. Without realizing it, the friendship we invented for everyone else quietly became something completely real. Rachel never tried to fix my broken heart. She simply stayed beside me while it healed. One evening, she confessed that introducing me as her boyfriend had been the bravest and most reckless decision she had ever made. I admitted that accepting the lie had become the greatest accident of my life. Months later, during another family gathering, her father smiled at me and jokingly asked whether I planned on making our relationship official someday. This time there was no pretending. I looked at Rachel, reached for her hand, and answered with complete honesty. The backyard erupted with applause before I even finished speaking. A year later, beneath those same glowing string lights, surrounded by the very family that had unknowingly witnessed the beginning of our story, I asked Rachel to marry me. She said yes before I even finished asking. Sometimes the most beautiful chapters of our lives don't begin with perfect plans. Sometimes they begin with unexpected moments, awkward mistakes, and acts of courage that seem completely unreasonable at the time. Looking back, I realized I hadn't simply found love. I had found a family that welcomed a lonely stranger before knowing anything about him. Their kindness reminded me that healing often begins when someone chooses to believe you belong even before you believe it yourself. Before we reach the end, I have one special request for you. Please leave a comment and tell us, have you ever experienced a completely unexpected moment that changed your life forever? Your story might inspire someone else today. If this story touched your heart, reminded you to never give up on love, or encouraged you to believe in second chances again, please like this video, share it with your friends and family, leave a heartfelt comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support means more than you know, and together we can continue sharing stories that bring hope, healing, and a little more kindness into the world. Because sometimes, the greatest love stories don't begin with a first date. Sometimes, they begin with a surprise introduction at a family barbecue,